What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Studios. First off, I want to thank you for watching the show. I truly appreciate your support. I know it's annoying, but please listen to the entire intro before the podcast begins, as I really need your help. So before we jump in, just a few quick favors, you guys. Number one, please share the show with anyone you feel that will benefit. This truly helps grow the show and has a massive impact on many lives. So please go out there, share the show. Sharing is caring, right? Number two, if you've not already, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes and in Stitcher, again, if you have not done so already. Number three, make sure that you join the private GSD Mode Facebook Mastermind group. If you go to www.gsdmode.com, you'll see a link, a button right there on the home page that you can click and request to be added to that group right away. And lastly, I want to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make this show entirely possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything that I do inside my business. You get my entire playbook, you guys. We have 12 live 3+ hour long sessions. Each session we go so in depth on exactly what I do inside my real estate team and how I operate my business. Plus there's a lot of different bonus sessions. You get access to everything I do inside my business on my tracking forms, presentations, checklists, lead generation tactics, lead follow-up tactics, team contracts, and much more. There's absolutely nothing that I withhold from you that you don't get access to. Plus you get daily access to me inside the group. So this is hands down the most effective and affordable real estate training program on the planet. Check us out, www.90daymastery.com, or click the link below to learn more about that. If you do join, make sure to plug in promo code Live Mastery. That's all caps, all one word, all together, which will save you $500. Make the whole entire program like $997, or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor number 2, is perfectstormnow.com. This is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors, and now offers not just the front end website, but a website and CRM combo with all my personal written follow-up drips and scripts. And some of these, you guys, go out 1,000+ days. We made it where it's 100% dummy proof. And this system, you guys, competes with $1,000+ month systems that exist in the industry, and it's only $199 per month. So make sure to check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com, where you can check out in-depth demos, client testimonials, more info, all that fun stuff. Our third sponsor is EMF. I'm really excited about this one. This is Optimized Life Nutrition's newest supplement, newest nootropic. It's by far the most powerful nootropic on the planet. EMF stands for Energy, Memory, Focus. If you're like me and you want to have insane energy, improved memory, extreme, intense, focused, this is the best product, you guys, that money can buy. I take it every single day, and the results are insane. Improved energy, improved focus, improved mood, awareness, and we've even had many clients tell us improved sex, dude. So it's just this crazy, insane, overall life-enhancing product. So check that out at www.optimizedlifenutrition.com. Lastly, if you want to be like me and the crew here at GSD Studios, kicking ass every single day, highly recommend that you rock your GSD gear here on the website, www.gsdmode.com. Snag your shirts. We have women's shirts, men's shirts. I got some hats, and we got a lot more apparel on the way. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoy the show, and we will talk to you soon. All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode interview, where every single week we interview top entrepreneurs and just straight up top badasses that are out there dominating their space. These are people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create amazing, epic, big lives for themselves and for their family, as well as have a big impact on others on this planet while they exist. So you guys, today we got a great guest on the show, so I'm really excited on the show. This is a entrepreneur, real estate agent, team leader that really over the last 4 years has grown her own personal business by over 400%, which is, you know, not heard of very frequently inside the real estate industry. So really stoked and honored to have Meghan Fife on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, no, this is an honor, man. I mean, you're doing big things. You're out there dominating in Oklahoma, and yeah, I'm stoked to hear what you're doing.
Yeah, well, and I'm seriously very grateful and thankful to even to be here talking to you. I watch what you do day in and day out. Not taking breaks and just pushing the limits and pushing and grinding. And it's not just the content that you give us, but it's how you do it that serves as an example for all of us. And so I watch what you do, not just what you say, and I think that you're a really powerful example for all of us. So
Yeah, I
thanks
love
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, truly means a lot. Thank you so much for that. So, before we get into what you're doing today, because the other thing too that I didn't talk about is you're having this massive growth, but you're doing it with a very small team. Right? I see a lot of these mega teams, and mine included, where people will hear my production, like, oh, that's a lot of production, but I'm like, well, I got like 30 producing agents. Like you've got such a small team doing these huge numbers. But before we dive into that, I'm always interested in our guest journey that led them into this path in the first place. So if you would rewind the clocks, what led you into entrepreneurship and ultimately real estate in the first place?
Yeah. So, as a kid, I think for my 10th birthday, instead of asking my parents for, you know, Barbies or clothes or whatever you would do as a 10-year-old, I actually asked for a desk and I asked for a calendar and a paperweight.
Yeah.
Okay. And my dad took me to Office Depot and I went and got this stuff because I wanted to put on a millennial party. It was a 1999 to 2000. I was 10 and a half years old at the time. Okay. And I wanted to make a production. Right. And I knew that I couldn't just do it. I had to plan for it. So ever since I've been young, I've been a planner. I've said that if I want a certain result, then I'm going to have to do certain things along the way to produce that result. And so that's kind of the beginning of the entrepreneur inside of me. Was even as a kid, I always knew that I could create my own reality. I could create my own outcome if I chose to go about it the right way. And so I'll tell you this, Josh, that as an adult, I was blessed with a decent job that let me put some money back, not a whole lot, but I was already looking at like franchises and different sales companies and organizations. I knew that, as a young person, I didn't want to work for the man or for a corporate organization forever. So at 24, I actually had my house, Josh, hit by a tornado. Okay. And it was truly the beginning of something really great in my life. I take it as a huge blessing, as a huge gift from the universe that really started me in a different direction of my life. And I took that money and instead of just spending it on, cars and watches and stuff like that, I invested it into building this real estate sales business. And that's where it all started, was when I was 23 years old after that tornado hit my house. I saw an opportunity and I wanted to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when all that's going on though, why real estate? Because you talked about looking at other franchises and with your other corporate jobs, like why real estate?
So I looked at the numbers, right? I looked at the analytics behind what was the least cost of entry, what could potentially return me the most profit and have the biggest profit margin. And I spoke with a lady who had been selling real estate for 9 years, and she owned other companies, right? She owned, a tanning salon and a makeup store. And I mean, she had different, what do they call them? Retail stores, basically, window front stores. And she did real estate. And I thought, well, if real estate's a way for me to have a good return on my investment of money and my return on investment of time, and it would open up other doors and opportunities for me to continue to build other businesses and create other businesses, why wouldn't I do that? And so that's really what got me intrigued into real estate was, okay, if I build that the right way from the beginning, I should have quite a bit of cash to reinvest in other opportunities as they allow.
Yep, love it. So then, I mean, were your parents entrepreneurial or I mean, what made you, I mean, it sounded like from an early age you had the hustle and the drive, but what led you into business? Was it their inspiration?
I'll say this, my dad, in 1995, he started a company called Fife Web. Our last name's Fife, right? In 1995, there weren't a lot of people building websites, and yet he did. And so he started Fife Web. I started putting web pages together, at a young age with him. I did one for my 5th grade project. I did one for a lady, at 10 years old. And so I think I saw that my dad was definitely an example and still is to this day. Now he's got different like woodwork that he does and sells. I mean, he's always done stuff on the side for himself. to build that extra income. And so he was definitely and is still a huge example for me in hustling and getting what you want. If you want something, you can do it, but you've got to go to work. You have to put the effort in. It doesn't always mean a lot of time, right? It just means the effort alone. Go push yourself. Go put yourself around people who are doing it. And my dad's always been an example of that.
Yeah, love it. So when your house gets hit with a tornado, because I can't even fathom that. Right? You've seen it in the movies and you see it, but I've never met anybody that actually went through that experience. Yeah. So when you went through that, I mean, was it like kind of a that happened and you were just like, boom, I'm going to do this, or did you kind of have some down moments? Because I got to imagine that just kind of turned your world upside down.
100%, Josh. There was a lot of growth that happened. That was in early 2013. And I had been at the corporate job I had been at, for 4 years, making decent money. Josh, I was actually had moved from like the lending and the banking side of the credit union I worked at to the collections department. Now, most people are like, collections, what the heck? I saw collections as a whole nother world. It set me up for so much success. I can't believe it. I was on a dialer every day. I was on the phone every day. I was asking people to do things that they didn't want to do, but I had to figure out ways to phrase certain questions and statements so that they did want to do it, right? That they did want to make that payment. And that really, for the 2 years I was in that department, it kind of set me up. And so that's where I was at when that tornado hit. For the first couple months, it was just chaotic, right? I mean, I didn't have anywhere to live. You couldn't find a rental because everyone was like trying to find rentals. I don't know how many people were displaced at that time, but it was probably the biggest tornado that Oklahoma City area had in 15 years. So it was a really big deal. And so ended up moving in with a good friend who inspired me, pushed me. Really is the one who kind of said, Meghan, why don't you take this risk, right? Why don't you quit your job and just go all in? You have the momentum, you have the energy. What's stopping you? And that's something, Josh, even just recently, I've been pushing myself to act faster. The moment that I feel something is right for me, I need to go. I need to do it. I need to take action. Because if you let it sit in the back of your head or on that desk over there, and you're like, yeah, I should, but there's some resistance there, you're missing the biggest opportunity that you possibly could have right now. You don't feel like you need to go do something unless you need to go do it. Like, you need to take action on it. And so I'm glad I listened to that advice and input from the good people around me at that time. They were like, you have it in you. It's almost like I didn't believe I had it in myself. Can I really quit my job, jump into real estate, and survive, much less achieve all my dreams? And I'm so grateful and glad I did. So there was some stuff there though, right? That I looked into. I studied. I read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I pushed some questions out to different brokerages and different people. I'm really trying to figure out, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And I really did my research there at the beginning to make sure that I was getting into the right model from the start.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, it's that whole, paralysis through analysis deal that most people suffer with. And even if you take action, it ends up being the wrong action, you still learn and grow from it. And, implementation, taking that action is so critical. So, all right, so you take this action, but at the same time, you're young, it's a new career. Yeah. So we're in an industry where 90% of realtors fail in the first 3 years. And your first year real estate agent on average only does about $10,000 in commissions. And you're young, right? I started off at 23 in the real estate business as well. And I just didn't allow that limiting belief to exist in my head. But I have so many young realtors reaching out to me that use that to go out there and prohibit them from getting the success that they want, using their age as an excuse. So what do you do that first year? What does that first year look like where you jump in and ultimately not become one of those statistics?
Yeah. So I got my license in September of 13, and I did not close on a home until February of 14. I tell everyone that because probably in December, September, October, November, December, those first 4 months, there was a moment that was like, what am I doing? Why am I talking to these people? Why am I writing down every person's name and phone number? What am I doing? This isn't really getting me the result that I thought it would. And I'm so glad that I pushed through that moment, because once again, you have a vision. There's going to be times where you're like, I didn't get the result as fast as I thought I was going to, but right on the other side of that thought, every damn time is the thing that you thought you needed and wanted, right? You have to push through that. When you stop is when you failed. So I'm so glad I didn't stop in December or January, because starting in February, I've closed, I think I closed 3 homes every month, 3 or 4 or 5 homes every month, the rest of 14 that first year. It was all those seeds I planted, right? So to say that I got started in a fashion that was like, oh, closings right off the bat, and I was such a hardcore closer, and I did all these sales, and I got all these listings right off the bat. I mean, it was not that way. I took the example of other people who were doing it, right? I looked at the big guys. Oh, they're doing all this business. Here's how they broke it down. Here's what they say to do. I took their advice, and I took the advice from the person who had been in business for 2 years, right? And still here. Like, okay, how do I fit into this? What do I need to do right now? Not what am I going to do in 5 years? What do I need to do today to get one step closer, and to my goal, right? So I'll tell you though that I took it as a relationship business. I started collecting names and phone numbers and email addresses, and I started building my database is how I did it.
Yeah, I love that. So, so I mean, your first full year, I think, on your bio, something like 35 deals your first year, and now you're on track to 115, this year in such a short period of time. That's insane. So, going back to that time, and I always compare real estate to like working out, right? It's like, you're going through all this pain and all this suffering, and you're working your ass off, and it's like a good 90 days before you even kind of start to notice any results. But then, like you said, it's like 6 months before you really start seeing those fruits. And it's definitely not a sprint; it's a marathon business, right? So then, when you talk about, okay, hey, I'm getting these names, I'm getting these numbers, I'm getting into my database, kind of give us an idea of the effort that it took, because I don't think a lot of people understand the effort that it takes with the follow-up to actually get these people to take action.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I tell people this all the time. I answered my phone.
Yeah.
That sounds so basic. When you master the basics, you will win, right? The black belt does not know anything different skill-wise than the person who has their white belt, or, I'm not very familiar with martial arts or karate, but I'm going to try to speak that language. They don't know a lot different skill-wise. What they can do, though, is perfect the skill that they already know, right? They're getting better and better and better at it. So I chose in those first 4 months to call for sale by owners, even though it was scary. I chose to call expired listings because even though it was scary, I didn't come up with my own script. I used the scripts that someone had given me and shared with me. I read them out loud to myself over and over and over and over. I'll tell you that the follow-up is where I really succeeded though, Josh, because I called for sale by owners at first and I didn't keep calling them. I got a few listings, a handful, maybe 3 to 5. And then I started holding open houses, and then I started marketing those listings, and I was getting buyer leads coming in, and I stopped doing the thing that had brought me that success in the first place. I stopped calling for listings. I started working with all these buyers. And then from time to time, I'd meet a buyer at an open house who had a house to sell, and I'd get that listing. But I wasn't being proactive about finding new listings. I was being proactive about any lead that came in, sign call, text for info, open house, Craigslist at that time, Facebook comment. I'd go friend them, and I'd just hustle. I say, hey, I saw you like this picture of a house I just listed. Are you looking to buy a home? Like, that was my script on Facebook Messenger, right? I mean, and they would usually be like, no, I just like the house, but I would still get that person's phone number. I would still put them in my database. I would still call them 2 months later and say, hey, Amy, we had talked 2 months ago. You like that picture of that house I had put on Facebook. I know you said at that time you weren't really looking to buy, but if you could buy, when would you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'd probably be next year. Fantastic, Amy. Have you already talked to a lender? Do you know what that would look like? Da, da, da. And then Amy would get a call from me the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month. My buyer's agent, when she joined, she closed the deal. She got paid, I think, on day 42 of her joining my team because of someone I had been following up with for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Which makes me so happy. It does. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. So I love it. So my inside sales agent, I just started that department about 8 months ago, and he for the last decade, it was a manager at Chase Bank in their debt collections agency.
Yes.
You know, right?
It's
So
perfect.
so when he started, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the dude just, I mean, he can turn an F off into an appointment, you know, right? It's just insane. But he comes in here, he's like, man, I'm used to doing, 1,200 dials a day. This is easy, right? It's like, what part of your success do you feel that prior training of all of that rejection and overcoming all that call reluctance? It's not saying that still didn't exist, right? But you learned how to face those fears. I mean, do you feel that really set you up for success?
It did, Josh, mostly because of the conditioning, right? The skills themselves, I think, can be taught pretty quickly. You can give someone a script, you can have them recite it back to you, you can do all that kind of stuff. But the conditioning of feeling rejected and just being almost like looking forward to being rejected is something that taught me a lot. And now you can't teach that. It conditioned me to accept rejection and still have a good day, because I wasn't going to let that rejection I experienced when I was collecting for, car payments ruin the rest of my day. I was still going to go to lunch and have a good time. I was still going to hang out with my friends and have a good time. I was still going to pick up the phone and call the next person. They weren't going to get me down. I think I leveled up my emotional stamina during that time. And so if you haven't had that experience, right, and you're getting into real estate and you need to get on the phone to get some immediate business, then just get on the phone, right? I mean, script practicing isn't going to give you the rejection. You have to go experience the rejection.
Yeah. So when it comes to, because 35 deals in your first full year of real estate, again, most agents don't experience that have been doing this for 15 years. So kind of walk us through like what your day looked like,
Sure.
As far as the action and the hustle that you took, because I know you're an absolute straight up grinder hustler.
I was going to say, do you want the real version though?
Yeah,
right?
100%. Well, and the reason being is I see so many real estate agents that jump into this business and they, I don't know what they do with their time. But they don't really understand the true. I had another podcast guest on the other day that is similar. I mean, he's on track to about 120 deals, I think, this year. Same thing. Only been in the business about 4 years, and he's like, look, I call for 3 hours in the morning, I door knock for 3 hours in the evening, 6 hours a day. And people can't. I don't think they get the action it takes to hit those kind of numbers out of the gate.
So my story is probably a little different. I spent a lot of time in front of the computer and in my CRM, right? So when I got those listings and I was collecting these buyer leads, they would go into this. I immediately put them in the CRM. I'm a less of a salesperson, right, and more of a systems person. All of my success that first year wasn't because I door knocked or called for 3 hours a day. Now, I might have followed up with buyer leads for 3 to 4 hours a day, but I'll be honest with you, it really wasn't until last year that I started focusing on listings. So that first year in the business, I just was OCD about collecting every name and phone number of anyone who ever raised their hand interested in either buying a home or selling a home or investing, right? Whether it was a family member, friend, referral, sphere. I asked for referrals. When I met someone at an open house and they wouldn't give me their information, I would just be like, well, who do you know who would? Because I need something today, So there is that hustle. There's that grinding out. I'm gonna walk home with something today. I'm not gonna let myself waste this 2 hours at the open house, or I'm not gonna let myself sit here in the office and go eat donuts in the break room. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna work. So it did take a lot of commitment, and also that first year in business, I started making money, Josh, that I hadn't ever made before. And as a result, I actually turned around and spent a lot of money. I went on a couple of vacations. I had a good time, right? So I'll be really real with you. At the age of 23, 24, when you're starting to make decent money, I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't know how to handle it. I reinvested some of it into systems and stuff, but I didn't really invest any of it back into prospecting or marketing. And as a result, that's really why that second year I only sold 51 or 55, because I didn't do much to really level up that. I didn't do much to duplicate or triplicate what I had been producing. And so my day to day, though, that first year, it basically looked like waking up, going through my emails, looking at the CRM, who needed a call today? Who had I talked with last Friday? Now it's Monday. Who had I talked with on Friday? who was a for sale by owner who said that, hey, we're going to hold an open house this weekend and then we might choose to hire an agent. I'd call them first thing Monday morning. How'd your open house go yesterday? I'd text them if they didn't answer. I'd email them. I'd find them on LinkedIn. I'd find them on Facebook. I would hunt them down to be like, hey, how did it go? And I just came from a very genuine place of caring too. Like if that person would have sold their house on Sunday, I would have been like, that's awesome. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. Where did you say you're moving to? Have you already got that set up? I mean, I was always just looking for a piece of business, not necessarily the piece of business I thought I was going after. Maybe they said, oh, no, we built this house, we got this one sold. Hey, that's awesome. I love it. That's so great. Well, I really enjoyed meeting you and talking with you. Who do you know that maybe would need to do something real estate related this year or this month? And really just not let any conversation go without asking for a piece of business somehow.
Yeah, love it. So then with your, being the systems person that you are, and you talked about the importance of your database and CRM, but how important has tracking been to allow you to attach to the process and really be able to go out there and kind of predict and duplicate and scale up your business?
It's undoubtedly the reason that I'm working on track to sell 115, 120 this year, because we've tracked every contact. Since day one, I would carry like a sticky note around with me: dials, contacts, appointments. Contacts, my goal was to always get to like 25 a day. Sometimes I had 17, but I would track how many people did I talk to today, and not just talk to like, oh, hey, have a good day, like ask for a piece of business from. So I've been tracking contacts, appointments, and dials or attempts since day one. And I could see what's my conversion ratio. It takes me, out of every 100 people I talk to, I get 3 appointments. Out of those 3 appointments I go on, I get 1 signed or 2 signed. Out of those 2 that I sign up, 1 actually sells, And so I've been tracking all of that. That's really what's enabled me to be more of a business owner and entrepreneur than just a real estate agent, right? I had to know those numbers in order to be able to bring other people into my world. If I couldn't bring them into my world, tell them, oh, good luck. Like, I hope you do a good job. Here's some leads. Here's some software. Here's some scripts. Like, good luck. It was like, no, here's the results I've been getting. I know that you can get the same as long as we stick with your activities, right? You have to put in the activities to get the result.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so important, I mean, I'm a huge believer in every single day you need to know exactly what you need to do to win the day. And most people have no idea. It's like, hey, I want to go out there and double my business this year. I'm going to work more hours. I'm going to be more focused. I'm going to work harder. It's like, okay, those things need to happen, but that's still not going to set you up for success, right? You got to know what you need to do to win that day. All right, so then, you go from that 35 to, you said 55, that next step. What point, do you realize, holy crap, there's only one of me, and you need to start delegating out these tasks and what was your first hire? Did you get it right? Did you make some mistakes?
There were definitely mistakes along the way. So my first hire was a transaction coordinator right there after my first year. I paid someone per file to handle all the paperwork and, schedule stuff with the lender and the title company. I was still doing the rest of the stuff, the inspections, negotiating repairs and stuff like that. And that saved me time. And like I said, I did not replace that time that I leveraged with the things that I should have been doing. I was like, okay, so now instead of 70 hours a week, I'm going to work closer to like, 60 or 55 hours a week because all this paperwork's done. But I wasn't actually replacing that time with doing anything beneficial as far as like calling listings. I was still just kind of like letting business come to me. Our market at that time was pretty good. It's still good, but it's not as great as it was then. I was kind of just letting things come to me. And I was being purposeful about putting it in the system. I wasn't being purposeful about going and getting new people to put in the system. Whatever came. I wasn't really at that time still calling like for sell by owners and expireds. I had gotten busy. And so I didn't have time for that. And I laugh at it now because that first hire as a transaction coordinator, she turned into a buyer's agent just because she was close to me. And I had so many buyer leads. I'd be like, here, this person, here, this person, here, this person. My failure in it that I learned was I used that person as a buyer's agent when really I should have used them as a showing assistant because I was still converting them and I was paying her, 50-50. And really that position, me converting them, me qualifying them, and her just going to show the homes, it could have been less than a 50-50 deal, and I could have put some more money in the bank to invest in an assistant, right? Which I finally did my third year.
So you've got this going on, right? And then you're starting to connect the dots, reflecting on your business, and realize, okay, that you've made these mistakes of not being proactive and going after the new business, and then the position that you set yourself up with the TC/buyer's agent.
Yep.
How do you go out there? Because a lot of people kind of feel then, oh crap, I'm stuck here now, right? Like, how did you, once you realized that, how did you make that transition successfully into the model that you have now?
It was rough. I had to surround myself with some people who had done it before. I had to trust the process. I had to go back to my 10-year-old days. So like a year, 5-year plan, right? At that time, toward the end of my second year, I said, Meghan, you got into this business to be a business owner. You did not get into this business to sell real estate, even though that's, the product that we end up, well, not even the product, we are our product, but that's the avenue, that's the channel in which we show up every day, is selling homes. And I said, 2 years in the business, you've got some money in the bank, you've done this, you've done that, and yet you're still not a business owner, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of the quadrants. You've got your employee, your self-employed, your what's that third quadrant, Josh? I know the last one's investor, right? I mean, I am an investor. Now my money's working for me. And I knew I was on this path to creating that. And I wasn't making the right decisions. I hired that transaction coordinator who became a buyer's agent. I did it out of pain. I didn't do it out of planning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did it out of pain, not planning. And so now every decision I make, every hire I make, every time we add a new system or a new software or spend money somewhere, it's because it's a part of the plan, not because we're experiencing pain. If I'm experiencing pain, I go back to the drawing board and say, why are we even experiencing this pain? Is there a better solution? Sure. But I want to be making decisions ahead of time. I don't want to hire out of desperation. In fact, I will not hire out of desperation. I will not. That's why I have some really fantastic people on my team, because they all were planned. Anyway. So that was a defining moment, especially between me and my spouse, and it was just like, hey, you're never home. When you are home, you're not that happy. We get to go on vacations every now and then, but you're still picking up the phone on vacation. You're still having to always stress, 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock on Thursday night. There's always someone who has a fire. There's always someone who needs your help. And I was just done. I was done. I was either going to throw in the towel and say, forget this business, or I was going to figure out a way to build a business finally 2 years in. And that's really when I got serious, because that buyer's agent / TC I hired, I should have never hired her. I should have hired a full-time administrative operations person to keep me organized and stable. And I hired out of pain because I was tired of working with buyers. And that was the first mistake I made, but I'm glad I made it, because then that second hire I made was a full-time salaried person who is in the office. She's in there right now. She's incredible, who just keeps my world running.
Time out. Joshua Smith here at GSD Studios. I need to take a quick pause to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make all this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything I do inside my business. You get my entire playbook. We have 12 live 3+ hour long sessions. In addition to a ton of different bonus content, you get daily access to me. There's nothing I withhold from you guys inside this program. You get my entire playbook that's helped me sell thousands and thousands and thousands of homes. You get all my tracking forms, presentations, scripts, checklists, team contracts. There's nothing you don't get access to. This is hands down the most effective and affordable real estate training program on the planet. So make sure you check us out at www.90daymastery.com. You can check out bootcamp dates. You can check out testimonials, more in-depth information. If you decide to register, make sure to enter live mastery, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you 500 bones. So you can get the whole entire program for only $997 or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor is perfectstormnow.com. Perfectstormnow.com is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors, and now offers a website and CRM combo with all my custom personal follow-up drips inside there, some of which go out 1,000 plus days. We've made it where this is dummy proof, you guys. Any type of a lead generation tactic you can think of, from expireds, FSBO, sign calls, open houses, past clients, everything is in there. It's a plug and play system. And this system really is as powerful, if not more powerful in my opinion. I'm a little biased, but as powerful as the $1,000 a month programs out there, and it's only $199 per month. So again, check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com. Our third sponsor is EMF. Optimized Life Nutrition has created the most powerful nootropic on the planet called EMF. EMF stands for Energy, Memory, Focus. So if you're like me and you want to have insane energy, improved memory, and extreme intense focus, this is the best product money can buy. I take it every single day and the results are insane. I've massively improved energy, memory, focus, mood, awareness, and like you've heard me say in the past, we've had clients that even say it enhances sex. We've had talked to people that have reduced anxiety. The supplement is insane. Check us out. Learn more at www.optimizedlifenutrition.com. Lastly, if you're like myself and our whole entire crew here at GSD Studios and my real estate team, make sure you check out our apparel line, right? We got t-shirts, men's t-shirts, women's t-shirts. We got our hat line that if you're watching this might be available at this point. The hats are in production right now. We're going to be adding a lot of different apparel. So make sure to check that out. And then also, if you're not already, make sure to jump into the GSD Mode Facebook private group. For example, inside there, you guys, we post all of our interviews to make sure that you're not missing out on any interviews. We're going to be doing some votes for future apparel, some Facebook Live stuff. So it's a free private mastermind that you can jump in to go out there, learn, grow, and continue kicking ass and succeeding. All right, that's enough of the interruptions. Let's get back to the show.
So then what when you come to that realization, I mean, what made you, identify that the current person that you were using, because it sounded like they were doing a decent job on the TC stuff and on the buyer agent job. What made you decide to make the decision not to pursue them to join you full time, and just go out there and hire a totally different assistant?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. It was a conversation that we had multiple times a week at times between her and I, just about like real goals. I think I was maybe keeping her a little too busy. Like she had some goals, but she didn't really want to put in all that time. And we had so much business going on. So instead of trying to bring someone in to solve a problem, we decided, and it was a mutual, if I saw her today, I'd give her a hug and a high five. But we decided that for me and my business, I was changing the branding, I was changing the marketing, I was changing my messaging, I was changing a lot of things about my business, that I needed to get real with me and be in business with people that believed what I believed. And we just weren't on that same page. So it wasn't difficult, yes, but we both knew that it was coming. And so, yeah, she did a good job for the time she was there. She was with me for 6 months. I think she made $45,000 to $50,000 with me in 6 months. So that made me happy. I was able to help someone else, but at the end of the day, there was just a lot of things in my business that I had to get straight before I could bring on a sales agent. I wanted some training in place. I wanted some standards in place. I wanted some things in place. And when I hired that assistant full time, she helped me start putting that stuff together.
Yep, love it. So, I mean, because you've only been in business for a short period of time, so I know that this stuff all happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you hire your full time, new admin, office manager, whatever the title is there. At what point do you hit a capacity then and realize I got to bring on a full time buyer specialist? And is your buyer specialist a straight up buyer specialist, or have you went to that showing agent model?
Sure. Okay. So when I hired I called her an executive assistant. Now she's kind of our office manager. But so when I hired my office manager, March 1st of 2016, the same, 2 weeks before that, I hired a full-time business coach. And so he started allowing me the space to talk about my goals, my dreams, my visions, and then the practicality of what does it look like day in and day out. So I knew that for the first 2 years in sales, that 2014 and 2015, I'd been heavy on the buyers, which is also why I was going crazy, right? Because I'm around town all the time. Yeah. Anyway, so those 2 years I was heavy on the buyers. When I hired my office manager, I said, to heck with buyers, I'm going after listings. I'm going to be the listing specialist. I'm going to be the crush it. I'm going to go on every appointment and get it signed. I'm going to develop the best marketing plan. Everyone's going to want to list their home with Omni Properties, or with me. And so, with that being said, Josh, I literally gave up working with buyers. When I hired Christina, my office manager, I let every buyer lead slip. They would still go in the database, and I would call them. And if they were like serious, I'd go sell them a home. But if they weren't, I wasn't following up with them because I spent 8 to 10 hours a day looking for listings. And I'm glad I did. So that year, 2016, last year, it was an interesting year because I went 75% listings, 25% buyers. But the only reason I even hired my buyer's agent, my buyer specialist, is not because I couldn't handle the buyers. I was choosing not to handle the buyers because I wanted to be so listing focused.
Yep. Love it. Well, and then it gets to the point too where, and I went that path too, where I got so focused on the listings where then it's like, you realize, holy crap, look at all this money I'm leaving on the table.
When she came on and she started calling, because she had come from a call world as well. She started calling. She said, Megan, there's probably like $200,000 in here that we've lost. Yeah. And I said, that does not surprise me. I said, it doesn't surprise me at all. It was the slow down to speed up. It was I'm going to do the one thing that I know is going to catapult my business for the next 5 years instead of the one thing that can get me a paycheck tomorrow or next month. And so that was when I chose to focus on listings. I knew I was giving up money. I didn't know how much, but I knew I was giving up money on the buyer side. I also knew that once I did hire that right person, and the only reason we even waited was because I was waiting for the right person. It wasn't because no one wanted to join. There were plenty of people who knew I had leads and they could join, but I wasn't going to hire out of pain. I was going to hire because it was the right person.
Yep, love it. So when you say that you were focusing 8 to 10 hours a day on only getting listings,
right?
And a lot of people can't even fathom, like, what do you do for 8 to 10 hours a day getting listings? Right?
Right.
And I know you started off attacking FSBOs and expires. I mean, did you just literally go back to that same strategy, yep, 8 to 10 hours a day?
Yeah, I really did. So I was, in the office at 8:30. I made sure my call lists were all prepared, and I would spend, 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 hours on the dialer, triple line dialing for sell by owners, expireds, aged expireds, old people not old people, but old listings that had never come back on the market. I did the circle prospecting. I started building the database. I continued to call my clients that have, bought and sold with me before. I went through that. Anyone who had ever raised their hand saying that they were a seller in my database got just extreme amount of contact from me. And then of course, as you're on the phone, you actually start setting appointments, right? And then then at that time I wasn't like super quick with preparing for appointments. So I'd spend an hour preparing and then an hour at the appointment and an hour decompressing from the appointment and then an hour, putting the listing in, because at that time I hadn't trained my EA or my assistant to do all of that stuff. So it was a work in progress. It still is, obviously, but I would not let myself get off the phone every day until I had an appointment. That's it.
Yeah. So then, fast forward to now with that focus, which I know your focus is still heavy on the listing side, because you get to the point where you've got all these listings, you're servicing all these clients, you're doing all this, and it's so easy to kind of let up that accelerator off of all of that prospecting. I mean, have you been able to minimize some of that prospecting by honing in on, instead of focusing on, hey, all these things, what is getting us the best results with that?
The best return,
yeah. I mean, have you kind of narrowed it down and honed in on that time so it's more effective with the time that you have? Because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. I mean, are you still able to go out there and do the same 8 to 10 hours a day prospecting?
No. Yeah. I actually kind of miss it, right? Because I think that's probably what I'm good at. I think that being systems based and then being okay dialing on the phone and asking for business, just those two things alone, I think will, for any of you, set the foundation for your business in a very, very powerful way, right? I mean, you don't have to be the best closer, but if you can talk to 20 people instead of 2, you're going to get more business, right? If you're going to follow up with the other 18, you're going to get more business. And so with that being said, no, I'm definitely not doing 8 to 10 hours of prospecting every day now. Jennifer, the buyer's agent I hired, she's really taken over all of the inbound leads. So she's basically serving as an ISA and a buyer's agent. She's in over her head, right? So she's hired a showing assistant recently that we're going to train. And probably the way it's going to work is we're going to keep filtering new buyers agents into our world. And yet those first 3 months, they're going to serve as people who are on the phone and leveraging showings for the buyer's agents. And then they get to basically level up after those 3 months into a full-time buyer's agent. So the fact that money's coming in on the buyer side, finally, right? Because I wasn't doing any of that last year. And now we've had 8 months of Jennifer being with us. Money's flowing in on the buyer side, and money's flowing in on the listing side. We've got listings, we've got leads, we've got leverage, right? Listings leverage. We're always looking at how do we take this up a notch. So the thing that's happened most recently is we brought on a new buyer's agent. So first buyer's agent since Jennifer, my lead buyer's agent, joined in August, and she's serving as a ISA on the phone, setting appointments for Jennifer to go on a consult, and she's doing the showings for Jennifer. So Jennifer closed 7 deals last month just on her own. With the showing assistant helping her, we see her closing 13 to 14 moving forward. And that's a month, right? So, and then of course we can always sell, 7 to 10 to 13 listings a month as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. So we just hired a leverage piece for Jennifer, and we just hired another leverage piece for myself. And that person I just hired is calling for sell-by owners and expireds and doing a lot of circle prospecting, while I mainly follow up with warm and hot leads that are already in our system and already need to be converted, or there's some extenuating circumstance that's causing them not to list just yet, but my job is to go close them and get them to sign.
Yeah, love it. So I know it sounds like you're kind of like the Wayne Gretzky in your real estate business, and Wayne Gretzky's famous quote is, "I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where it's going."
Right.
When you start seeing these, what do you feel is potentially, I know it's maybe, it's theory at this point, it's tough to say, but with all this going on, what do you see your next strategy being? Like, for example, with, do you that ISA, do you see yourself segmenting those out, hiring just that person for the ISA, then the consults, then the showing assistant?
Yeah. So my goal has always been because I wanted to be a business owner, right? When I got serious about hiring, my goal was to only hire great people and great talent, and then empower and lead them to the point that they would lead everyone else. So I've got my operations person, grooming her to be able to hire and leverage and manage and deliver great service to our clients. So we're actually looking for her an assistant at the moment. I've got my lead buyer's agent who is training and managing the showing assistants and the buyer's agents, and she takes them through 100 days of training and 3 months of training. And then this ISA I just hired is truly, in my eyes, the director of lead generation for my business. And I've told her that it's not like right now you're setting FSBOs and expires, but as long as you keep doing what you said you would do and what our standards are, and as long as you keep exceeding the standard, then I will then empower you to hire other people. So really the next thing that will happen is that those 3 key hires that I've made, Christina, Jennifer, and Jordan, they will go through the same training I've gone through to hire great people and then to train them properly. And then they'll keep building their own divisions. And then the only other person I'm really looking for at this time is a listing person, right? Eventually, I've been going on probably 7 to 10 appointments a week, maybe not always 10, at least 5 a week. Let's be real. With Jordan calling and me calling now, I see that upping from 15 to 20 appointments a week. And there's no way I want to go on 20 appointments a week. Let's be honest. So hiring someone to help me go on listing appointments or take over listing appointments is the next thing that will happen.
Well, and you've already mentioned that you miss that process and that rush of dialing and setting those appointments.
Yeah.
So you see yourself kind of just taking on that role more and more and more.
Yeah, I see myself being the networker, truly a rainmaker in the sense of I will always find ways for my team to have leads to work. I can't confirm to them that if they don't have the skills to convert them, that they're going to be able to do X amount of business. But can I always have people who need to buy a house, sell a house, or invest in real estate for them? Yes. And it's everyone's job to also lead generate, hold open houses, ask their friends and family, ask their clients, ask that lead, that wrong number, right? I was with my ISA this morning training her, several wrong numbers, every single one. She's already asking them, well, hey, since I've got you, right? Do you own your home? Are you looking to buy a home anytime soon? Well, no. Well, hey, if you aren't right now, when would you? You know, and we're just adding them to the database. I think it's a numbers game. I believe in the MREA. For every 50, for every 12 people you've met, there's 2 pieces of business in there. And we're adding people to our database that we've met either on the phone or in person. We're going to stay in touch with them over and over and over in a systematic way. And we're going to get those 2 pieces for every 12 people we've met.
Yeah, love it. So I don't know if you've read the famous business book E-Myth Revisited, but definitely one of my favorite books. And inside there, he talks about people not necessarily being what makes a great organization. It's systems, right? Because your people can never show you their greatness unless you have those systems in place. I mean, have you found that to hold true? Because you've talked about great people, but it sounds like you have such amazing systems that they can follow, that they can show you that greatness.
Yeah. If you were to ask my spouse what my first 2 years looked like while I was doing it on my own, but what at night between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. looked like, I was on the dang computer putting together some kind of system, putting together some kind of thing that day or that week I had a struggle with. And I said, what do I need to do to systematize this? How do I prevent this from taking up so much time again? And so I just would constantly be putting that stuff in place. So when I hired Christina, my assistant, I gave her everything I had and I said, make this better. This is a rough draft. This is the Meghan version. I need an omni version now. I need a scalable version now. And that's been the journey she's been on. Besides just serving as a transaction coordinator and listing manager, I mean, she's serving as the person who's putting everything in writing, who's building out that operations manual for us to train off of and train in. So the system, there's no way. I have some great people, but if I didn't have the systematic approach to training and developing and letting them use the systems that we have in place, there's no way that they would be able to succeed at the rate that they're succeeding.
Yep, love it. So
and Josh, let me make one more comment about that. I ask them to make the system better. I say, listen, this is what it is. I said, but you're the one using it. If there's something in there that isn't working, tell me, tell us, tell Christina. Fix it yourself. I don't know, like whatever we have to do to actually make this system more efficient, I need your input.
Yep.
So it's all hands on deck to making it better.
Yep, love it. That's awesome. So, there's a saying out there that in business it takes money to make money, which I'm not a huge fan of, right? Because if you go out there and you can bootstrap and hustle your ass off, and with the kind of volume that you guys do, I mean, what does that look like? 'Cause it sounds to me like you're so much prospecting based compared to marketing based. I mean, what kind of a marketing budget do you guys have at this point, if any?
It's stupid. We don't have any. We don't have a marketing budget. I actually sent my profit and loss statement to my coach last night, and I had to put in there, I attached it as a PDF and I was just going to send it, but I had to put a qualifier in there. I said, listen, I spend 3 to 5 times as much as anyone else on education.
Yeah.
That's where my money goes. It's not going toward marketing right now. It will in the next 2 to 3 months. I mean, now that I have an ISA, her salary will probably go under the marketing budget. But I mean, at the end of the day, what we're really doing is building a database referral business that's constantly getting new Mets in there. So even if FSBO and expired, if they don't do business with us, I still want to build a good relationship with them. I still want to be able to call them six months from now and say, hey, it's Meghan over at Omni. How's it going? Oh yeah, you sold your house with agent X. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Oh, well, he really screwed up here, and here. Well, hey, we don't want that to happen again. You got my cell now. Call me anytime, and I'm just building relationships. That's what I'm doing. I'm just building a relationship business. And I've encouraged my team to see it that way too. And see, really, we're looking for the long-term wins, right? We're looking for the long-term wins. And so we will have a marketing budget, but right now, not the majority of our money, but I mean, the biggest expense in our budget is education. I send my people to education, to training events. I'm not the best trainer. I think I can do decent at it, but there's something about getting outside, going to an event, going to a class, reading a book, going through a coaching program once a week, whatever. I'm a huge proponent of it.
Yeah, love it. So then, you mentioned that your agents go through like a 100-day training program. Again, I mean, most people can't fathom what that would even look like. Can it kind of break it down? What that onboarding process would look like, just to get your people dialed in the way that they are.
Yeah. So it's really heavy up front, right? 100 days sounds like just a ridiculous amount of time. It's heavy up front. It's heavy that first week. It's heavy the first 4 weeks. However, after that, it's more so self-managed. They just know they need to read that book. They need to go shadow that person. They need to go hold, X amount of open houses that week or that month. So the training is mostly self-managed. It is a lot of action-based though. It's not just a lot of watch this video, read this book. It's okay, call 20 of your own sphere and ask them for business. It's call 20 FSBOs. It's called 20 expireds. We've broken up, and it's a work in progress, right? Like, no, I don't think even one of the biggest teams in the country or sales businesses in the country has just black and white training program that they always execute onto the T. It really depends on the person. And so we have mile markers basically of, this is what you should have done by this week, this month. And really, because by month 3, we want them to be fully onboarded. We, especially like for my ISA right now, she's going to get there faster than I had planned, which is awesome. I'm not going to stop her. And yet, do I think that there's some foundational pieces in that training program I still want her to do? Yes, but she can do it all in the first 30 days. I don't care, It's mostly mile markers, though, as far as here's what I should be able to accomplish by this time.
Yeah. So then, so your real estate team is a different name than your name, of course, right? And this is a question I get all the time of should I brand it towards me or brand it towards a company name? And, and I made the transition years ago of removing my name from it and going just because it gives me more options, whether that's someday creating my own brokerage or future sellability. Why did you go that route and make that decision?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. So that first year, I was Fife real estate team, and it was just me because I knew I wanted to build a business. So I automatically went to the team thing. But very soon after I had my face on the sign and all that crap, I just said, this isn't what I want. I don't want people to have to call Meghan. I don't even need anyone to know who Meghan is. I'm building a business that I want to be profitable. I'm building a business that one day I'm going to be able to step out of, and I'm truly going to receive passive income from it because all of these other great, amazing people in my organization are running the show, and they're making money, and I'm making money, and I'm moving on to my next venture, right? And so Omni Properties is very dear to me. The mission behind it, the vision behind it, the values that we have. This morning, because we have the two new people in the past few weeks, we went over all of that again, and it literally almost brings me to tears because I believe it's who I am. Everything that Omni is who I am. I didn't need it to say Meghan Fife to be Meghan Fife, and that's really how Omni developed. So it was a lot of soul searching, and there were a few days, Josh, where I had to turn off the phone and turn off the computer and sit in a room in quiet or with some soft music and just be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I could be selling beanies and the mission would still be the same.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. So where do you see yourself taking this? And I know it's kind of a tough question, but do you have a vision of where you see your real estate team and organization going?
100%. So my goal right now is to get to 5% market share in our Oklahoma City metro area. I don't really have any intentions of expanding outside of the Oklahoma City metro area until we reach that mark. I think it's totally doable. There's a couple other big, real estate sales teams and businesses in our area, but no one I can't handle or beat. And they always serve as, examples too, right? I appreciate the work that they've put in because they're leading the way for all of us. So that's where I see us going. Me personally, because I don't want to be selling real estate myself, client to client, or listing specialist to client or whatever. I see myself continuing to leverage out. I see myself continuing to reinvest profits back into the business to hire the best people and have the best systems and the best lead generation machine. And then great service too. I mean, I really see myself building out the operations side pretty well so that we can deliver quick service, great service, not just great, really outstanding, just outstanding. In today's world, when I can get something on my doorstep 24 hours today from this moment from Amazon, or when I can, watch any movie that's out in the theater on my TV because I pay for this subscription or whatever. I mean, experience is where it's at, right? I sat in a movie last night actually, and it was one of those with the seat warmers and the chair goes back and all this stuff at the movie theater, and I thought, this is the life. Like, I don't know. I just said, this is the life, right? Yeah, I have people bringing me like food or drinks or whatever. That is what I want other people to experience when they buy or sell a home with us. Like, this is the life. Like, this is so easy. This is so simple. This is it. Like, and we have a great time doing it. And these people are awesome. Like, it's about human contact. It's about inspiring other people. So that's where Omni is going. I mean, Omni's going to, we're not taking over 5% market share because we're going to, take advantage of people. We're having 5% market share because we want to be a name in Oklahoma City that people recognize and that they get inspired by it, that they want to be, they get attracted to it. We're already experiencing that on a lower level. We just got to reach more people.
Yeah, love it. So, we find so often that good very quickly becomes the worst enemy to greatness. It's so easy to get caught up in the, to have these big visions, but then things get going good enough and you're like, I can kind of take the foot off the accelerator. I'm making good money, like what, and you can definitely tell from your energy and your passion that that's not you. What personally keeps you leveling up and never settling for good enough?
I'm not fulfilling my mission unless I'm pushing the limits. I'm 27 years old. I have my whole freaking life ahead of me, right? So to not push the limits, to not transcend the status quo, to not break barriers, to not break ceilings of achievement, to not go from entrepreneurial to being super purposeful and getting shit done, right? To not do that is to not be true to myself. And there was a time in my life, right, I'm so old, early 20s, where I wasn't true to myself. I will never go back there. I won't let it happen. I love being me. I love who I am. I love my mission. I love my vision. I love where we're going. I love that I have good intentions. I love that I want to help people and make a lot of money. And those aren't two opposite things. So I can't not. I guess that's the answer. I can't not push the limits. I can't not get shit done. I can't not, be present wherever I am. And if that means that I scheduled Saturday and Sunday off and I'm supposed to go to the river or I'm supposed to go spend time with my mom, then that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing the limits there. I'm breaking barriers there. If I'm on a date night, like I'm there. I'm pushing because hanging out in the same cul-de-sac over and over and over, that's insanity. It's insanity. It's insanity. And I won't stand for it. And I won't let the people around me stand for it. If you're not doing something new today, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. I love it. So, what's the best place, Meghan, if somebody's watching and listening to this and they want to reach out to you, maybe it's somebody that's in your area that wants to talk to you about joining your organization, your team, or somebody just wants to follow you, and like I said, reach out to you. What's the best place to do that?
So really the best place I've been putting out, like videos and stuff like that is on my Facebook. So you can just type in, Meghan with an H, Fife-Boswell. I think it's on this, on the header to this video. But so Meghan Fife-Boswell got married back in September. And that's really where I'm providing a lot of content. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, but I'm not there as much. So I'll be honest. Just go friend me on Facebook. Go follow me on Facebook. I want to connect. Send me a Facebook Messenger. I am historic for, I don't know you, but if you follow me on Twitter, you don't just get like a text from me. You get a video that's like, hey, John, thanks for following me. Hope you're having a great day. Because I genuinely, I want to meet every single person on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So yes, please do. Please go follow me. Please go send me a friend request. My Instagram is Meghan Fife, and I am on there, pretty often, just not as much as Facebook. Yeah,
and those that are watching and listening, we'll have links right below where you can just click on and connect with Meghan right away. So, if you could go back, knowing everything that you know now, and your just over 4-year career now, or 4-year career, if you could go back and give yourself 2 pieces of advice, knowing everything you know right now, when you first were starting off this journey, what would those 2 pieces of advice be?
Act faster. Take more risks, act faster, and invest your money from the very beginning. So the extra money you make, you can use it to go have fun, or you could use it to keep building. And as a young person, keep building. Go deep with it. Don't go wide with it. Go deep with it. Build a solid foundation. where you know this much money comes in every month, right? Live a good life. Don't deny yourself, but just really look at, okay, am I going to spend this money right now, or am I going to invest this money? So I think if 3 years ago or 3.5 years ago when I started, if I would have had that mentality of I'm going to invest every single dime that's extra instead of spending it, I would probably be already selling 150 units this year. So, or last year. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so powerful. I remember I don't know, it was like my second going into third year. I was at Remax at the time, and I got this award that was like where you hit $1 million in commissions. And, it was like this award deal ceremony, and everybody's congratulating me. And I couldn't even be excited about it, because I'm looking at this award, $1 million. I'm like, where the hell's the money? I got like 10 grand in my bank account. Dude, where the hell is all this money? But, again, I was just spinning as fast as I'm making it, trips to Vegas and just having fun and regret every second of it.
Hey, you know what? It's awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's awareness. Yeah, it's awareness. And once you're aware, once you acknowledge where you're at, then you can change it. If you live in denial, if you would have just high-fived everybody and been like, yeah, I'm such a badass, I'm awesome, I made over $1 million and I've got all this money in the bank, and you didn't, and you lied to yourself, who cares if you lie to other people? When you lie to yourself is when you're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, love it. Powerful words. So, I created this podcast a couple of years ago just because with the information age that we're in, there's a lot of good information, but holy crap, is there a lot of shitty information that exists out there. So I wanted to create a space where we could go interview the doers like you, people that are in the trenches, that are actually creating success, so we could give the right, real knowledge that's not theory but actual strategy to our listeners. And on a selfish level, I get to, pick brilliant brains like yours every single day. So with that being said, those that are watching and listening are here because they want to go out there and create an epic, amazing lives for themselves and their family. Do you have any last pieces of maybe inspiration or advice that you'd like to leave them with so they can go out there and do exactly that?
Yeah, get to know yourself. Get to know your strengths. Ask people around you what you're good at. Ask them what you're bad at, right? Just get to know yourself. If you've been in go mode and you're not feeling fulfilled, you need to take a break. And not just take a break and watch TV. You need to get away. You need to step away from what you're currently doing and examine what's going on. What have I been doing? Where do I want to be? How do I bridge that gap from right here now to where I want to be, right? And you can get there faster than you think. You just have to ask yourself some very serious questions. So if you don't know what questions to ask yourself, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich. And literally in that book is a list of questions you can ask yourself. I would recommend it highly.
Yep, love it, love it. So those watching, listen, I know I end every podcast with this, you guys, but information without implementation is truly just the start of delusion. Information is no longer power. It's taking that information, taking action on it, and as Meghan said, taking fast action on it, right? That goes out there and creates power inside your life. So Meghan shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you guys. Take something that you learned today and go out there and take immediate action so you can create the life you know you want and deserve. And Meghan, I truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here. Likewise. This has been an amazing time and an honor.
Yeah, it really has. I've had a good time, and it's been good for me. It solidifies all of this stuff inside of me, and I'm so glad to have been able to share it and get to know you too.
Yep, 100%. Well, thank you again, and thank you guys for watching and listening, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.
All right, peeps, that wraps up today's show. Again, thank you so much for watching the show. I truly appreciate it. Just a few quick reminders and favors that I need from you. Number one, please share the show. Anyone you feel can benefit from this show. This truly helps us grow the show, continue going out there and having impacts on many, many lives. So it'd mean the world to me if you went out there and shared the show. Number two, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please go out there on iTunes, Stitcher, leave us a 5-star positive review. All that stuff helps for awareness of the show. Also, make sure to join the GSD Mode private Facebook mastermind group. If you haven't already, you can go to gsdmode.com. Right on the front page, there's a link there. Click that. We'll get you added right away. A lot of cool stuff in there, a lot of masterminds. We're bringing a lot of Facebook Live, different stuff in there they have access to that you can't get anywhere else. And lastly, I want to give our sponsors a quick shout out that make this show possible. So our first sponsor is my personal 90-day Mastery Bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship training program where I give you everything that I do inside my business, right? You get my entire playbook. We have 12 live, 3+ hour long training sessions. You get daily access to me inside the program. There's a bunch of bonus training sessions. You get access to every single thing that I do inside my business. All my tracking forms, all my presentations, checklists, lead generation tactics, lead follow-up tactics, team contracts, and so much more, you guys. There's nothing that compares to this program. You get full access to everything that I do inside my company. I hold nothing back. Go check us out, www.90daymastery.com, where you can learn more information, see future dates, see testimonials, all that fun shite. If you decide to join, make sure to plug in Live Mastery inside the promo code, all one word, all together, all caps. That'll save you 500 bones on the program. So you get it for only $997, which is a freaking steal, or 3 payments of $333. Our next sponsor is PerfectStormNow.com. So PerfectStormNow.com is an insanely effective lead generation website for realtors, and now offers a website and CRM combo with all my custom personal follow-up drips, all of my scripts that are inside there, right? So there's no guesswork. And when a lead comes in, based on the lead source, you're gonna know exactly what to say, when to say, how to say. All of it's just auto-filled, and we made it where it's dummy-proof. I mean, this system is as powerful, if not more powerful, in my opinion, than the $1,000 plus monthly websites, and it's only $199 a month. So go to PerfectStormNow.com. You can check out in-depth demos, see more testimonials, learn more information on it, all that cool jazz. Our last sponsor is EMF. So Optimized Life Nutrition has created the most powerful nootropic on the planet called EMF, Energy, Memory, Focus. So if you're like me and you want insane energy, improved memory, an extremely intense focus, this is the best product that money can buy, you guys. I personally take it every single day before I do webinars, before I do things like this, man. I'm always taking this product to go out there and enhance, again, my focus, my intensity, my memory, every aspect of it. So go out there and check right now on www.optimizedlifenutrition.com, where you can learn more about EMF. Lastly, you guys, if you want to be like me and the rest of the GSD crew, as well as my real estate team and so many others that listen to this, listen to the show and support the show, make sure you're rocking this GSD mode gear, man. We want to go out there and spread the love, spread the word, spread the GSD mode name. So on the site, gsdmode.com, we have men's shirts, women's shirts. We're starting to run a lot new apparel through the site, so you see a lot more coming as well. So make sure to go check out the site, pick that up, have some fun. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.